The capitalist model running the free world is now gone tilt. It is done, toast. It all seems so fake. Nothing that we used to believe in is not faked or heavily manipulated or full of massive fraud. We are not practicing capitalist philosophy, we are practicing a game system of elites on how to print money unfairly. The Fed has been blowing bubbles since 1971, diluting the hard-earned dollars we all work for. 40% of all dollars in existence were printed during the last 12 months alone. And because the bulk of the money gets put in asset bubbles, yes, the overall inflation continues to rise, but certain industries, because of subsidization and regulation, get it worse, like housing, healthcare, education, and Wall Street. Most of them are in Apple, Amazon, Tesla stocks, and some in cryptocurrencies. Most of those Fed notes are spread around the world as mostly the world's currency. But, since other countries are noticing the US debt and low interest return now, much of those Fed notes that the US uses as currency might be about to come home like a red tide. The money printers and regulation engineers in DC cannot defy the laws of economics indefinitely. It's not as if they are extremely intelligent, creative, productive, or resourceful. Those types don't end up in DC, that's the last place they'd go. They control through power, but power can't change the math. It can't change human behavior. It always fails, history is proof. Welcome back to the Atlantis Report. You are here for your daily dose of the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Please take a second to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to also hit the notification bell. Inflations are already all around us. Look at the stock markets and Bitcoin. This is inflation, which will eventually flow into the prices we are looking at. CPI is a bogus number. Even the money printed takes time to reach the middle class. There's a lag period of 6 months to 3 years before all the funny money filters its way through to everyday prices. Later this year, we should start seeing price shocks in food. Meanwhile, the rich buy up assets that will inflate in price even more, then use that as leverage to buy even more in the future when prices reset. Rinse and repeat. The rich get richer, the poor get poorer, for reasons most get wrong. If you watch the financial networks, you'll see all these rich old guys saying, "We have to stimulate, we need zero interest rates." Money flows right to them. The government set the rules for the rich to get super rich. The great collapse is coming very soon. The stock market will crash within the next 2 years at most. No fiat system has ever survived. Our Rome will one day too fall. Eventually, hyperinflation will hit. What goes up always comes down, and what goes down always goes up. The stock market, fatally wounded by the truth, will stumble and crash. Market bubble fears are rising. Warren Buffett warns the bubble will end in a huge market crash in February and March 2021. Please sell your stocks and prepare. The money printers and regulation engineers in DC can't defy the laws of economics indefinitely. It's not as if they are extremely intelligent, creative, productive, or resourceful. Those types don't end up in DC, that's the last place they'd go. They control through power, but power can't change the math. It can't change human behavior. It always fails, history is proof. Following the rules, following the law, enforcement of the law, consequences, audits, open transactions, transparency of the raw data, etc., are all gone. Everybody's in the casino running to the next great thing. I have never seen so many reckless gamblers in my life. Seemingly every human is trading stocks and crypto. This is a shoeshine boy moment squared. Massive underlying rigging through artificial interest rate suppression. It is hilarious that the hedge funds are now crying about manipulation. A fund manager named Bill Ackman went on CNBC a year ago and said there was going to be a financial tsunami and that American hotel stocks could hit zero. He made $2 billion shorting Hilton after. The company the Redditors are targeting, Citron, issues public statements on their investments to influence other investors to strengthen their positions. Good to see hedge funds getting their own back. Well done to these vultures, and now they're crying, unreal. The fundamental of a free market is supply and demand price discovery. The central bankers have short-circuited that fundamental. They have created a fake interest rate environment by sopping up loads of government debt. The fakeness permeates throughout the system, stock and asset evaluations become fake as well. This is where we are. It wasn't long ago that inordinate government borrowing would ramp up interest rates, thus tamping down that urge of government to operate outside its means. The discipline of the market. No more. Unelected central bankers, themselves insulated from the ill effects of the dictates and policies they throw upon us, inflation-protected wages and pensions, deciding by the committee behind closed doors, funding socialistic programs by monetizing debt, and here we thought the communists were the enemy inside job. This is socialism. And Thatcher, when she predicted socialism, runs out of other people's money, never saw the threat from central bankers and their antics providing the endless stream of funds that socialism needs. This is not about the stock market anymore, it's about if there is any rule of law. If no one is arrested, then we know we live in a banana republic. The Fed is a complete fraud along with every other government agency supposed to protect us. They are like a cartel. Before 2008 the Fed was quiet and on the sidelines. You didn't see them on CNBC trying to convince people the market is healthy and there are no bubbles. If you aren't one of the ones buying the regulation and manipulation through campaign contributions, sweet real estate deals, boardroom appointments, and a whole myriad of other ways, the protection they offer ain't intended for you and won't protect diddly squat. It's all a racket. The Fed is a privately held cartel owned by approximately 300 families and bankers throughout the world. And yes, they control the governments and the markets at their whim. Since 2008, with the introduction of QE and now the additional stimulus printing, their fake money has forced the stock market into all-time highs. Zero interest rates forced savers, seeking any return into risk-taking, namely stocks. The USA has $30 trillion current debt, and $220 trillion of unfunded liabilities. Total fraud. Don't you ever wonder how all this debt will be paid off? These markets aren't a reflection of true market conditions, I know that is an understatement. It is only a reflection of how much free Federal Reserve money is created and injected into these fraudulent and manipulated markets. Free money from the Federal Reserve is nothing but helium for these big, fat, ugly market bubbles. Why work hard for a living and be productive here in America in order to make money, when all we have to do is sit back on our computers and win it by just buying what the Federal Reserve is buying? And who wins? Those invested in the markets and 401ks. Who loses? Those who are not investors in these fake markets and actually have to work for a living. And who puts food and product on the shelves and provides us with service? Those who are producing for the benefit of others. And who doesn't put food and product on the shelves and provide service? The gamblers in these fake markets. They don't have to work for a living, all they have to do is win. They produce nothing, except wealth, for themselves. The stock market will crash the moment people try to retire. George Carlin was right, they're after your pension. In many ways, the stock market has become the latest Las Vegas casino stay cation. And when millions of citizens get free stimulus money, the psychology ends in higher risk tolerance across the board. For example, I know I take more risks with free money. I once won a 4-figure cash payout on a cruise ship Super Bowl raffle, used bookie odds to calculate the final score and bought the highest probability tickets. Because it was now free money, my risk tolerance spiked to, F it, let's have fun. I ended up playing maximum odds at a high odds craps table using logic. The emotional high, free money, turned off my risk tolerance, and I turned 4 figures into 5 figures with a string of luck before I was tossed out of the casino for disturbing the passengers by carrying too many chips around, and some other weird excuses. The truth was I took 1 to 2 days of the ship's casino profits, and when you start taking the house profits, just like Wall Street, they find a way to toss you out in order of protecting you and protecting others, because who can say no to more protection? Another similar feature of casino versus stock markets is I sometimes play craps on the house side, cheering for a 7 roll. Almost nobody seems to do this, and the other gamblers get extremely tribal and angry for reasons I fail to understand logically. People tend to like to bet together, as herd mentality seems to comfort higher risk-taking as, how is it risk if everyone else is doing it, seems to be the illogical thought process. I find the gamblers who get the most upset usually end up losing all their money, and the ones who don't show any emotion when I bet with the house usually win money. In summary, emotions are dangerous in the stock market and casinos, and right now, stock market gamblers are very emotional in their stock market bets, with many of them using free money, which adds even more unhealthy emotions to the gambling frenzy. All the inside traders can't stand this. They want to be the only ones that get to cheat. Personally, I'm proud of we the people coming together and manipulating the market for their benefit instead of the robbers and banksters of Wall Street doing it to us. Yeah, they're going to cry like babies and try to stop it, but I hope they don't succeed. The game is rigged and has been so for a long time. It was manifest in 2009 when they banned mark-to-market rules, and it has only gotten worse. Fiat currency is used by the elite to extract wealth from the working stiffs. The US no longer has free markets. It has socialism for the rich and raw deal for the masses. The whole thing with GameStop is a stepping stone to regulating and even banning cryptocurrencies. Eventually, anyone having cryptocurrencies other than the official central bank cryptocurrency will be labeled a financial terrorist. Be wise. 1. Get totally out of GME. 2. Get totally out of BTC. You'll be glad you did look back. BTC is going exactly with the major market indices mood. The consensus is for a market crash come springtime. Take some Bitcoin gains off the table and buy physical silver. It's about to skyrocket. This was the Atlantis Report. Please like, share, leave me a comment, subscribe. And please take some time to subscribe to my backup channels. I do upload videos there too. You'll find the links in the description box. You will also find a PayPal link if you want to make a donation. Thank you wholeheartedly to all those of you who have already donated. Stay safe and healthy, friends.